Okay, I wound up having breaking up lesson 5 into 2 videos. I'm going to try to make folders and put this in folder 2. So again, this is unit 5 or unit 6, sorry, lesson 5, and we are on question 2. So this is the second page. So we're going to get started. As you see, it asks me to plot points on the coordinate plane to the right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Hold on a second. Okay, so we have P and Q, P, Q, R, and S. So P says, and I'm right here, so in case you're looking, P is at 1.5 and 1/2. So let's go ahead and look where 1.5. First, we're going to do the X, which is at the bottom again. So we're going to look at that. And this is Y, remember. So that's the second number. And it only asks us to go up 1/2. So right there, that's going to be letter P. Okay. Next is Q. Q is also at 1.5, but it's at 2.5 Y. So Q is up 2.5. 1, 2.5, right here, straight up, and there you go. Notice, so I guess we're going to be looking at having the same X coordinate on here. So I bet you this is going to get packed on this. Now we have R, and R is also at 1.5. So we're in the same line going up, but this is at 1 1/4. So 1, let's find 1 1/4 is one more right there, and that's going to be R. And the last one is S, and we're at 1.5 again, surprise, and 3/4. And this is going to be right here, and that's going to be S. So S is over on the, gosh, man. Like I said, this pen is terrible. Let's go ahead and erase that. Maybe I can, let me see if I can rewrite some of my stuff better. I got 3 points there. Again, the first point was P. So I'm going to do that. And the next point was S, right? There's S, and then the other point was, I believe, 1 1/4 was R. R. Okay, there you go. Q, R, S, and P. Use a straight edge and draw a line through these points. Label it H. So if we drew a line through all these points, we're going to draw a line straight through all the points, and we are going to label it letter H. Line H. There you go. Circle the correct word. H is parallel or perpendicular to line X. So X is the bottom line. So is that going in the same direction, parallel, or is it going in a different direction at a right angle? And the answer is it's perpendicular. It's going to the right, and it makes a square, signifying a right angle. Line H is parallel or perpendicular to line Y. So this is Y. I'm going to use a different color. So let's go to blue. And there is Y. So Y is going up and down. So is H going the same direction? And it's parallel. So it's parallel. What pattern occurs in the coordinate pairs that let you know that that line H is vertical? They have the same X coordinate. Same X coordinate, and this is what you would say, coordinate. Okay, good. For each pair of points below, think about the line that joins them. For which pairs is the line parallel to the x-axis? So if they're parallel to the x-axis, they need to have the same y. Okay, so their y coordinate, that's the second number. So if the second number is the same on those points, that means they are parallel to the x-axis. So we have a 9 here. The second number is 9. So that would be parallel to the x-axis. And that was from the problem we did before. And that is the only one that it works for. So the other ones are not parallel. And okay, that's it. Okay. Well, number 4, for each pair of points below, think, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase everything and move everything down. Is that okay? Well, it's going to have to be. All right, so here we go. Let's go. For each pair of points below, it says, think about the line that joins them. For each pair for which pairs is the line parallel to the y-axis? Circle your answers. Okay. Then give 2 other coordinates pairs that would also fall on this line. Okay. So we're looking for y, something parallel. That means it goes up. That means this is y. Y goes up and down. So we need to find a line that goes up and down. That means it's going to have the same x coordinate. So the x's are going to be the same. So that's your first number. So the first numbers need to be the same in each pair. And I'm looking, and I only see this one. Okay. Sorry about that. My dog. So it wants us to give 2 other points. So all you have to do is, for any other points on that line, you're just going to start it with 0.08. And you can literally write any number you want as the second number. Okay. So this is x, and that's the y. So the second number could be any number you want. I mean, it can be 100. It could be 1,000. It could be 6.2. It could be 6. I'm just going to put 6. And another point could be 0.8 and comma. Let's use a decimal since they used one. Let's do 7.2. Okay. You can just make up any number you want for your second number. That would be a point on that line. Okay, that's the x. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's clear that. And we're moving on, and we are on 5. Let's see if there's anything else. That's it. So we only have 3 more problems. This should be quick. Let's go ahead through these. Write the coordinate pairs of 3 points that can be connected to construct a line that is 5.5 units to the right of and parallel to the y-axis. So if it's 5.5 units to the right of the y-axis, and that's right here. So if this is y and this is x, and we need to go 5.5 units to the right. So we're going to go this way, 5.5. So basically 5.5 is going to be your point down here on the x. So x is going to be 5.5. Okay. All right. And I'm going to use a different color because that one's a little harder to see. Let's use green. So I got write the coordinate pairs of 3 points. Okay, 3 points. Let's do it. So all you have to do is 5.5, comma, anything you want. So you could do 6. Okay, hold on. Okay, so the second one could be 5.5, and we can use 4, and then the last one we could do 5.5, and it's fine, whatever you want to do. Let's use a half because they did 8.5. There you go. That's 3 units. Now you can do any ones you want. You just have to start it with x is 5.5 because it's 5.5 from the y axis. Okay. So it says write the coordinate pairs of 3 points that lie on the x-axis. Okay. So we want 3. Stop. My puppy. See? Here's Ozzy. Hi, Ozzy. How are you doing, buddy? What you up to? Okay. All right. So we have 3 points that are on x. So x is right here, if you look to the right. Any points. Okay. So it could be any. So the first number can be any number you want. So we could pick the number 2 as the first number, but it's going to be 0y because it's at the bottom. So if you look over here, it goes to 0. 0y is the second number. So it could be any number and 0. That's all you do. 6, 0. And remember, so x, it can be anything, but y has to be 0. And I could do, I could do 100, comma 0. I could do that. I could do anything you want. Okay. All right. Moving on. Again, remember that's x and y. X would be the bottom number. Adam and Janice are playing Battleship. Yes, we did this in lesson 4. Presented in the table is a record of Adam's guesses so far. He has hit Janice's battleship using these coordinate pairs. What should he guess next? How do you know? Explain using words or pictures. Okay. So let's look at a pattern here. He hits everything on 11. So 11 is your y. So let's look at this. Okay. So if you had a coordinate plane, here you go. And let's go over here. And this is like, let's say that's 5. And that's 10. Okay. And then at the bottom we have, 5 and 10. Okay, we'll do that. Now he hits at 311. So 311, 3 would probably be right here somewhere. And 11 would be here. So he hits at 11. Okay. He hits at 2. So you can put a 2 right here. And he hits 211. Okay. There you go. There's another one he hits. Okay. 11 up. 310 he misses. Okay. We won't plot that. 411 he hits. So that 4 is right there. Going up to 11. So he's right there. So if you had to make a guess at where another spot is that he might have hit, there's 2 places you might go. Okay, you might want it. So this is 2 right down here. That's 2. That's the last one. And then 4 was the one on the right. So I'm going to guess you might have to go down to 1 here. 1 and 11, right? So 111 could be one guess. Okay, because it's on the left side of the 2. Or where else might you go? So if you hit those 3 spots, where else could I go? Yes, you're right. That's exactly where you could go. You could go at 5. So it could be, and here's our 2 possible hits. I'm going to put them in red. So he could go right here or right here. And remember, a battleship only has 4 hits. So you got a 50-50 chance of getting the right one, right? So the second one could be 5, 11. So notice they're all on 11s. So how do you know? Because they're all at a y equals 11. So all of the y's, these are both y, and they're equal 11. You can, and I drew a little graph, a little makeshift graph to show you where these numbers would be. And that's it for lesson 5. I'm going to make lesson 6 now. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay. Bye. Hold on a second. I got to